G'day cocktail lovers, how are you? I hope you're keeping well, and welcome to my garden. And what's better at a garden party than a cocktail or two? And I just, for a whim, decided to make one during the day outside. And hey, while we're in isolation, day drinking's a bit of a thing, so we'll just pretend we're being sophisticated, having a garden party and a drinky or two. Now the cocktail I'm going to make today is one of the stranger ones I've made. It's called the Trinidad Sour, and it's strange in the way it features bitters, and I mean features bitters. Normally when you put bitters into a cocktail, you put a couple of drops, a couple of dashes of bitters. The Trinidad Sour has 1.5 shots of Angostura bitters. The phrase often used with how and why you use bitters in cocktails. It's bitters are to the cocktail maker what spices are to a chef. They're not the main event, but they accent some of the flavors and make it a little bit better. So this one feels a bit like when someone says, are we having steak for dinner? I say, well, kind of. There'll be a little bit of steak, but your plate will be mostly pepper. Excuse me? No, it's just a thought I had. Rather than giving you a steak that's slightly seasoned, I'll give you a plate covered in seasoning, and there'll be a little bit of steak on there as well. And you go, okay, I'll try it. And so here we go. I'm going to try it with the Angostura Heavy Trinidad Sour. Our core element, 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of Angostura bitters. As it's only designed to come out a little bit at a time, it can take quite a while to get the required measure happening. When you've struggled your way to 45 mils of Angostura bitters, in the shaker it goes. We're also adding 1 ounce of a sweetener. I'm using an agave syrup. You can use simple syrup, orgeat, whatever sweetener you happen to have on hand. 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, and just 1/2 ounce of rye whiskey. The recipe I had recommended getting 100 proof or better rye, so I'm using the Rittenhouse rye, which is 100 proof, and a nice drop it is, but just 15 mils of that. A couple of big blocks of ice in the shaker, and away we go. Now we strain that into a chilled glass. That is a rather devilish colour we've got going on here. Let's dive in, do the taste test. And it's actually really good. There's a reason this is on classic cocktail menus, I should say. Yes, it's bitter, but considering it's 1.5 shots of bitters, rather than just a couple of dashes, the Angostura is remarkably under control in here. You're not going to like this if you don't like bitter drinks. We've got a balance with the lemon juice, with the sweetener, and a little bit of a kick from the bourbon. But while on paper this might look like a decidedly bad idea, when it comes down to tasting it, it's really pretty good. While I'm happy with how that went, that seems a little bit too simple to me. Taking a recipe that seems dodgy, but other people have said is good, is only a bit of a risk. But what if I changed the bitters? What I have here is possibly the second best known bitters after Angostura. This is Peychaud's bitters, known as a Creole style. They're both aromatic bitters, but they have a very different flavour profile. And I've never seen anyone make a Trinidad Sour with Peychaud's. I suppose we'd call it a Creole Sour if it works, and just a terrible, terrible mistake if it doesn't. But now I'm going to make the same drink, but swapping out the Angostura bitters with the Peychaud's bitters. I've mixed up the same measures as the Trinidad Sour, but this one is Peychaud's bitters rather than Angostura. It's a much brighter red. If you've seen it before, Peychaud's bitters is a very bright red compared to Angostura being quite brown. But here we go, the moment of truth. Oh my god, that works. That's actually better. This is not bad. It's worth trying an unusual drink like this, but I will go on record. The Creole version of the Trinidad Sour is superior. I give this the thumbs up. This one's perfectly acceptable, but this one, oh, that is really good. I actually really like that. I was prepared for this to be absolutely terrible, but it's worked out very well. So never be scared to experiment. And to my mind, this was a fairly extreme experiment, and it's worked. I feel happier for that. So this goes on my list from now on. Peychaud's bitters in a Trinidad Sour, and I'm going to try it again in the future. I think, you know what, for fun, I might even milk clarify these, because that might even take a little bit of the edge off the bitters, make it go down smoother. Maybe post pictures on my Instagram. So if you're not following me on the socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Angry Aussie, you'll see I post all sorts of things. Angry Cocktails on the Instagram as well. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do. Tell your friends about it. Hey, find a few interesting drinks here, tips and tricks, all sorts of experiments. And as always, please let me know in the comments if you've ever tried anything this weird, or if you think there's a more unusual drink that I should try. Not some weird crap you just made up, but something that's, you know, been published, that is recognized as a cocktail human people drink. And I'm always interested in experimenting, so I'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, look after yourself, stay well, and I'll say cheers.